In a first for South Africa, 3 locally produced nano satellites have been launched into space. The satellites will detect, identify and monitor vessels in near real time in support of the maritime domain awareness. So they were deployed yesterday from Cape Canaveral facility, that facility in the US, by Elon Musk's company, SpaceX. Senior engineer at the French South African Institute of Technology, that's Nyameko, Royi, is our guest this morning to help us understand just how important this is for our country. Mr. Royi, thanks very much indeed for your time. So talk to us about just exactly how this is going to improve how we monitor, detect and keep, for one, our maritime sector safer.
Hello, ma'am. I wouldn't know what exactly they are currently doing, but I can tell you about what the satellites will be doing. Mm-hmm. The satellites, basically, we've got these short messages that we get from the ships. The satellites will basically be detecting those short messages. The messages they carry like information, like simple information, like the direction, the speed of the ship, and possible the payload, what it's carrying, and also where it's from and where it's going. Mm-hmm. And so with that information, the ship keeps beaconing it. So it's like that information is available almost every few minutes. So the ship is doing that. So our satellites are going to be monitoring that. The reason that we're tracking these via satellites, I mean, there is equipment that can do that via terrestrial equipment and terrestrial radios. Yeah, but with the satellite, we do have a better field of view. Remember, with the terrestrial radio, with the terrestrial equipment, as the Earth circumference with the horizon, you're not able to view some of the ships that are not in line of sight with the ground equipment. But with the equipment that is above you, then you've got a better side of view.
Yeah.
With the satellites.
Yeah. Yes. So at present, South Africa does rely on third-party foreign providers for this kind of information. That's right.
Yes, that's correct. There is a number of companies. Okay, at the top of my head, I know there's 2 companies that have the AIS receivers that they are using. The one being a Canadian company. I think another one is from the Scandinavian countries, be it Sweden or Norway. Yeah. So those companies, they have a footprint in that regard. And then I know that South Africa spends quite a lot of money buying that information from those companies in order for us to track our coastline. Yeah.
The launch of this satellite constellation, again, it's remarkable for so many reasons, but not least of which because this satellite constellation was developed entirely on the African continent.
Yes, ma'am. The entire constellation was developed by us from our labs in CPUT, Cape Town.
Wow.
And it's quite it has been coming for so long. I mean, if you talk from bottom-up that development, we have worked on satellites for quite some time. I mean, some of the equipment, it's some equipment that we've already used. The electronics that are on board, some of them we already used. Most of the stuff that is new is the payload, and then also the payload, we've already tested it with Tsar Cube 1. Hence, we've been able to develop all 3 satellites within the short space of time, which is 3 years.
So you're talking about... Sorry, did you mention Tsar Cube 1 right now? Because Tsar Cube 2, according to my understanding, that's yes, the most advanced nano satellite that's been launched today. That was 3 years ago, right?
Yes. Sorry, my apologies. If I said Tsar Cube 2. Yes, Tsar Cube 1. No, it's Tsar Cube 2 exactly, man. Yeah, that's correct. So some of the equipment comes from Tsar Cube 2. So we didn't have to develop most of the electronics from scratch. We did tweak the software. We did change a few things from the lessons that we've learned from Tsar Cube 2.
Yeah. In terms of the work that CPUT is doing, clearly cutting-edge work, and it's great for our country because it puts us on the map. But does it mean that you'll be doing more work, perhaps internationally, with other countries now?
At the moment, we don't have. We do have like, as I said, that we do have the equipment that we've built, we've developed over the years from Tsar Cube 1, upgraded to Tsar Cube 2. That equipment, usually we've already do have some market out there, which we do sell it via Clydespace, which is a company from Stellenbosch. Scotland. Yes, a company from Scotland, yeah. So all those subsystems, they are available on their website. So we have a track record with international market. I mean, all the components that we're using, that they are already space tested. They have space heritage, so which is good for us. Hence, even last night we managed to track within the first pass. We managed to track all 3 satellites because we've been doing this for quite some time now.
Yeah. What does it mean for your students at CPUT, and I suppose your future students as well, who are interested in getting into the sector?
Yeah, it means that we might have a lot of few projects that are going to come our way, and then it's exciting times, of course. I mean, this is the first constellation, so there's going to be quite a lot of work that we'll have to do. And then also there's going to be quite a lot of research probably that we have to do, because it's the first constellation that we have to pull out, so it's going to be quite a long, hard work. And then the students also, they're going to have what you call, they have a lot of work also in their heads. If they come and join our team, I mean, they're going to have a lot of work.
So for our viewers who are wondering why this is so important, the Department of Science and Innovation says our oceans are a huge contributor to our economy, and we have to constantly have a sense of who is in our waters, what they are doing, and are they illegally or legally there, also in terms of monitoring the algae blooms, which can be dangerous for the fishing industry. So a whole range of benefits to our maritime industry. But Mr. Royi, before we let you go, do we know that the concept works, or is that now a matter of time?
Well, the concept does work, ma'am. I've said that we've proven it with Tsar Cube 1. We've got so much information. Now with 3 more satellites, we're going to get more data. But we have to separate the satellites. The main thing now is just separating the satellite because they are all cluttered together. But yeah, we know that the concept works, and we know that the satellites, all 3 of them, work. As I've said that last night, we did talk to all 3 of them. So yeah, I mean, the concept is there. We've tested it before, and then now it's just that we have more payload and more data that we have to process.
Yeah. So that data, all of that information will come to your ground station at CPUT. At what stage does government take over the management of the data?
After commissioning, usually the owner of the mission will take over. So at the moment, we're looking at some time after March to, end of May, I think the 22nd of May.
Okay.
If everything goes well as it is right now, so yeah, we will hand over to government, but if the government wants the information, I mean, they are willing to contact us. The preliminary information, they are always welcome to contact us regarding that.
All the very best with the coming days and the many, I suppose, sleepless nights that you will have as you get it off the ground. Nyameko Royi is a senior engineer at Africa Space Innovation Center, and that's at CPUT in Cape Town. Thanks very much indeed for your time.